Hello, hello, you beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle. We talk all things life, love, spirituality, love attraction, all of that juicy goodness. We are here for our weekly energy reading. I hope you all are doing so well. I don't know what your weekend was like, but for me, it was filled with family time, post Thanksgiving. I spent a lot of time with my nieces and my nephews. We had a sleepover last night with my two nieces. We painted, we did all the things, we danced, we went on drives, we got yummy food. I literally ate so much junk this weekend. I cannot wait. And it wasn't even because of Thanksgiving. It literally was just from that time with my nieces. I feel like my body is like, Michelle, you need to cleanse. But I have my celery juice all ready and prepared in my fridge. So I am ready to be on it tomorrow morning. It is Sunday evening as I'm filming. I will try to post this as soon as I get done, or maybe I'll post it in the morning. Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, please open sacred space. Please only allow the highest and whitest light messages to come through. Please bring us the messages that we need to hear this week. Please let us know if there's anything that we need to be prepared for, whether it's, I feel like there's change coming for some people. So please let us know that. I don't know why I felt guided to say that. Yeah, I feel like there's change coming. There might be big news. I'm hearing there's big news coming in for somebody. So you better come back and comment below and let me know if you have that news. And sometimes that news comes in as like a little small text, an invitation, and you don't really see the gravity of that change yet. But it's like a little door. I just heard like like the door just a little bit opening. And oh my gosh, my bathroom door, I usually always have it shut when I'm filming. And that's exactly the same energy of what my guides just showed me. It's like a little bit of a door opening. It's like somebody just starting to express something to you. Or maybe, yeah, like just this little glimmer of maybe the dream that you've been wanting to call in. And I felt so guided to do a video about 10 signs of manifestation is coming. I filmed that this weekend and I haven't done one of those in a while. But I think like big manifestations are starting to come in, and my guides wanted me to prepare all of you. So go watch that video if you haven't. The 10 signs, there was 5 like heavy signs and then 5 like lighter signs, meaning 5 signs where you're not feeling so good, which kind of offers you comfort because you're like, oh my gosh, this is okay, like that I'm feeling this way because it means that I'm being prepared for something. And as much as I love teaching about manifestation, I don't always want people to think that we should always be yearning and looking for something new. Like I am such a gratitude person and I'm a really like content and happy where I am type of person. And I had that thought the other day. I'm like, do I really want to be the girl that's always teaching people to reach for more and not be happy where they are? But then I got out of my head and I was like, no, Michelle, that's your ego. You love the magic. This is the funnest part of life is the journey. And that's what manifestation is. It's understanding how to maneuver through the journey, not get upset when you're feeling those heavy emotions. And when things are happening to you, they're really happening for you. So then I realized, well, that's what manifestation is. It's really just co-creating and being able to learn the system and being content where you are and living from the end as if you already have it. So speaking of that, I almost forgot. My friend she called me over on Friday night and she was like, Michelle, I have something for you. So she made me 3 oversized oracle cards. And she's an artist. I was a guest on her online TV show called I Am Creative. And she is wonderful. And I know you're watching, so thank you so much. But look at these beautiful cards she made me all by herself. She spent the time to pick the colors, to cut everything out, the certain words she chose. So this one says sacred space. It says, it is all within. Establish boundaries, ask for what you need and want. You are worthy. So beautiful message here. And I feel called to share these, and look, it matches my flowers. So sacred space, go to your sacred space, meditate, make a little altar in your house, a little space where you can just sit down and really call in what you want this week to look like. And then we have layers falling away. So kind of like removing what no longer serves us. It says, like an onion, the layers peel away to reveal your brilliance. Oh, so bright you are. How perfect. And I love how simple this one is. It wasn't like filled with color. She really liked the white. And she was an art teacher. She does all the things. She's a Reiki practitioner. She's an art teacher. She has her own TV show. She like brings people onto her TV show who are creative. She just wants to literally, bring everybody into their fullest expression as creators here on earth. And her latest thing that she's doing is she's got these beautiful kits that she put together to bring to hospitals and to treatment centers. And they're like therapy kits for families and kids who maybe are waiting in a hospital for somebody who's going under a surgery or something. Or there's just all these different scenarios where we're put in uncomfortable, tough situations, really like life-changing situations. And she's put together these kits for any and all people. They're therapy art kits, and they're going to be big. They're going to be sold all over the country. And she's just starting out now, and the universe is just starting to take it to another level. So this is the kind of woman that we're dealing with here. She's amazing. And this says grounded. And when she gave this to me, when I first read it, I thought at first said granddad. And I was like, oh my God, she's recognizing my dad. But I think maybe my dad had me read that incorrectly just to bring his energy in. And this one says, through the crown to the root, down into the ground, the light goes through you and grows roots that allow you to feel anchored and sturdy. P.S. These roots can be moved wherever you go, so powerful you are. How lovely are these cards and these messages? They're so fun. I just feel so lucky that I have these kinds of people in my life who are willing to sit down and create things for me out of the goodness of their heart. She wasn't asking for anything in return. She just was like, yeah, she just is so giving and so wonderful. So I had to share those. So the messages to start off this reading this week: go to your sacred space, find a nook in your home, maybe a nature where you can co-create your week. What do you want your week to look like? And then allow the layers to fall away. Bummer, somebody's calling me. Decline, sorry. Okay, and then grounded. So maybe when you're out in nature, finding that sacred space, you're literally grounding yourself into nature. And you're allowing that energy, that light to pour through you as your feet are planted on the ground. And you're just really connecting back to your roots and your source and the universe and Mother Earth. Okay, here we go. We open sacred space. We started off with those. Let's start with the Muse, my newest deck that I've been loving. And I just heard shuffle and then spread the deck. So this is kind of abnormal. And for those of you that are looking to be readers one day, like when I say I just heard or I'm hearing, what's happening in my head is it's a quick thought. And it's like, I just had this idea just to do this. It just popped into my head. And I was like, oh, I've learned that's my guides telling me what to do. And this took a really long time to learn because I was just like, wait, why am I having these thoughts? Like, am I supposed to do this? Am I just creating this? Is it my imagination? But our imagination really is our guides using our brain to speak to us. So when you have a quick thought, if you're doing something as a reader or as an interpreter or whatever you would like to call yourself, trust those quick thoughts, okay? So I did a quick shuffle. So we're just going to do a quick little spread now. And I just had a vision of me closing my eyes. So they just told me, close your eyes and pick. I'm hoping these little tips help somebody out there, because I get so many questions from clients who are trying to be readers. So like, how did you first learn, Michelle? How did you know what these all mean? How did you know when you're burping and you're hiccuping that it's energy moving? It's just from watching other people and from talking to my mentor. So you can always ask me any questions in the comments if you're unsure of why you're doing certain things, and I will be able to share my experience. And it's nothing is the truth, you guys. Like, even though like I say my burping is my guides, breaking up that sentence so that I make it very clear to my client, listen to this, what she's about to say. Listen. But that might not be true, but that's what I like to believe because it feels true for me. So if it doesn't feel true for you, you have to honor that. Okay. I just heard 3 cards. 1. And these 2 came together. Ooh, we have the Death card. Number 13, which always reminds me of my daughter. because she was born on Friday the 13th, which at first I didn't like that. I was like, oh no, because if you didn't know that my daughter passed away about 6 weeks later after she was born on July 13th, she passed on August 29th. And I just never really liked back then that she was born on a Friday the 13th. I was like, ew, is this a bad omen? I wasn't spiritual at all. Grew up Catholic, but wasn't really somebody that practiced. And then I learned all about spirituality and the number 13, and it means a death and a rebirth. So, literally, that experience with my daughter, she made me new. She made me this. I was reborn. I always say the day she died is the day that I woke up, because even when she was born, I was still not awake. It was chaos, it was trauma, everything that happened. She had a muscle disorder. So we were never able to bring her home. We were at the hospital 24/7. I went from having a C-section to being on my feet instantly, pumping and doing all these different things. And she couldn't even take my breast. So she had to get a feeding tube. So I had to pump to provide the milk. And it was just so chaotic, those 6 weeks that she was alive. But I was numb. I was numb through it all. I was a new mom, didn't know what I was doing. And honestly, the day that she died was the day that I woke up. So this card is symbolic of somebody's going through a death and a rebirth. Some shocking situation might have happened in your past, and that was the catalyst for your spiritual awakening. It was like, hey, I'm sorry that this bad thing is happening, but you are now going to be different. You're going to be new. You're going to see life through a different lens. And sometimes it takes a death of somebody, it takes losing a job. Another part of my awakening was a really tough breakup back in like 2018, I think it was. I thought I was going to marry this one guy. He was the first like amazing boyfriend I had after my loss. And it was probably 5 years. Micah passed in 2012. So no, it was 6 years post loss. So I hadn't really dated anybody in a long time. So he was the first one I felt safe with. And because of my loss, I'm learning about the mind and the fear and all the things we do out of fear. I clung to this guy like you would not believe, because I loved him so deeply, so intensely, because I was terrified I was going to lose him. And I did everything I could to keep him, but it smothered him. And then it ended up not being good enough. And he just always felt inadequate. And looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I feel so bad for doing that for him. And to this day, he like has me blocked on social media and stuff. And I'm like, I feel bad. But he broke up with me because it was just so draining. And he was trying to get me to see it, but I wasn't awake back then. I wasn't understanding why I was kind of trying to control him and trying to keep him with me. He was feeling strangled and smothered on an energetic level. And I always thought I was always going to be that way. And it's so lovely to know that I'm not that way anymore. And you don't have to be that way either. So I share this in hopes that if you've been in a situation where you've lost somebody close to you, or if you've been through a bad breakup, it could be sparking your spiritual awakening. I didn't eat for I ate minimally, but I barely ate for 2 months. I was skin and bones after that breakup. I started to go get Reiki, and that's what started me on my healing journey. The Reiki practitioner would pull cards, and I just loved them so much. And that's when I started using my gifts. So if it wasn't for him in that situation, I wouldn't be here doing this. And if it wasn't for my daughter. So on my journey, I've had multiple different awakenings, but that breakup, oh man, that was almost like more painful than my loss, believe it or not, because it was like it was happening again. Like I was feeling that pain of losing something all over again. And I ended up taking a trip to Lake Tahoe by myself. I kayaked, I went on a helicopter ride. I was reestablishing who I am and what is my purpose here. Not reestablishing, I was finally searching. Where before I was just coasting through life. Now I was like, well, why did I just go through all of this? What is the point? Am I going to continue to suffer? But then I realized I was choosing the suffering, I was allowing it. And for somebody out there who might be going through a tough breakup right now, you're meant to be experiencing this. You are being reborn. And sometimes when we have that energy on us, or we're with that energy, we can't quite see what we're doing, and we can't quite see our patterns until we pull out of it and we're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize I was doing that. And now I see it so clearly, but when I was in it, I couldn't see it. And I'm so grateful that he parted ways with me, because it was the best gift he's ever given me. He gave me freedom. He gave me the chance to explore my patterns. and to explore my spirituality and to figure out why bad things happen, because they're happening for us. Death is just a rebirth. It's a cyclical thing. We're always going to have to just learn to be okay with things coming to an end. There's always a new beginning. And I always say, like, sometimes in situations, you're like, I was only meant to be with my daughter's father for a short period of time. That ended pretty quickly. And that's why I was single so quickly, and why I was single for 6 years before I dated this other guy. But I was meant to just be with him to create my daughter. And then it was like light switch. It was like everything turned off. And I was like, oh my gosh, why do I need to leave this partnership? And it's only like 5 months after Micah was born. And I was like, I just didn't understand it. But it was like God was saying, hey, you completed that karmic cycle, that beautiful situation. You created a beautiful soul to change you, to spark your spiritual awakening. And now it's time to move on. So that was a really tough breakup to go through, not even 5 to 6 months after my daughter was born. So if she was still alive, I would have been breaking up with him when she was a 5-month-old. And a lot of times people might judge that and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're breaking up with somebody when you have a newborn. That stuff does not matter. You can absolutely still raise a beautiful baby in a healthy environment if you are cordial and you have a healthy uncoupling, if you will. But in our situation, she had passed, but there's so many people who break up while they're pregnant, who break up while they're not, like the baby's a newborn. Like, if it's in your soul to do something, you have to honor that. You don't just stay suffering, and you have the conversation with your partner and you talk it out. And then you figure out, okay, maybe I am going to, not physically and sexually be intimate with this person anymore, but maybe I'm still going to be around to be there for this baby, right? You don't remove yourself from the baby's life, but you're just changing the dynamic of the partnership and finding love and finding a loving way to still work together as a team for that baby. I don't know why I just said all that. I guess somebody out there needs to hear it. So we have Knight of Emotions. This is a wonderful card. So this is usually, like in other tarot decks, it's the Knight of Cups. He's romantic. He's coming in with flowers and an invitation, and he's just wanting to shower you with so much love. And this horse is like giddy. He's like so excited to come see you. And he's splashing through the water of his emotions. This means he is so smitten and he just cannot get enough of your energy. He's dancing in the waters of your love. I just heard. That's really beautiful. He's dancing in the waters of your love. He can already feel how loving you are. And he's like, this is going to be epic. He's like, I cannot wait to be in her energy. Okay. So maybe he is going through the death, the rebirth. Maybe he's going through a breakup. And he's finally going to come home to the loving, warm waters that he's always meant to be in. Beautiful messages. And then we have the Devil card. Man, we have the Death and the Devil. These might seem like dark cards, but they're not. This is all toxic cycles ending. So the Devil card is about like addictions, things that were once keeping us feeling trapped, whether it's a karmic partner, whether it's a karmic job, a karmic addiction like drugs, alcohol, a karmic thought pattern, belief system. This card symbolizes you are transforming it. I just heard you're like a phoenix rising from the ashes. This person saying, no more. I am done with that addictive cycle. Okay. You know what you need to do. Ask your angels to change you into a person who can take action. Okay, so maybe this is the person that's going to be coming in with an offer. They know that they need to come in with an offer, and maybe they're nervous. Maybe they're a little like, oh no, I don't know if this person's going to receive it well. Are they going to reject me? They have all kinds of fear. But your guides are saying that they're going to be guided by their guides and angels. And if this is you and you're about to make an offer to somebody else, ask your angels and guides to give you the words, to give you the strength, to calm your nervous system down, to make the call. And these two are beautiful. Look at the teal. Okay, let's do one more from my deck. Lately, I've been just really, really loving the present moment when my house is really quiet. I wake up in the morning and it's quiet. I go to bed at night and it's quiet. And for so long in my life, I lived in like 7 different places in the last 5 years, and I always struggled with noise. And my mentor and I feel guided to share this real fast. My mentor always used to tell me that we attract our external circumstances. So if I was always dealing with noise, that's because I was always unsettled in my life. I was never where I was supposed to be, but it was meant to be that way. Everything was perfect. As she always says, all is perfect because we're supposed to learn lessons. So each day that I wake up here and I go to bed here, I'm just like, man, this is too good to be true. Like, I finally made it. I finally made it to where I'm on my mission, doing what I'm supposed to be doing that feels good, that helps people, that invigorates me. And I'm waking up in a peaceful home that just feels right. And it just feels really peaceful. And I'm in that phase right now. And I'm just kind of like, I'm trying not to let the thoughts pop in that it's going to change soon. I'm just like, no, Michelle, you have spent so many years. I spent my childhood in survival with an abusive parent. And then I had sexual abuse as a little girl. And then I moved into just like the pressure to be perfect and the fear around, trying to avoid the abuse. I couldn't really relax. I was always activated, like always. And then I moved into my teenage years, my college years, and then I had my daughter. And then that was another activation of my nervous system, of fear, of is everybody going to die? And then it was, am I going to be single forever? And then it was, I don't want to be a teacher anymore. What am I supposed to be doing with my life? So it was like nonstop trying to protect myself in the beginning, and then trying to move myself out of feeling like I was in that fight or flight all the time. And right now, take a deep breath with me. I feel free. And you can too. You are on the way to feeling like this horse, to feeling like you're finally home and you're peaceful, and all that survival and all of that nervous system activation is finally coming to a close. You are finding that space where you're just peaceful, regardless of the money in your bank account, regardless of the job that you're doing. You're just happy where you are, because you know that where you are is exactly where you're supposed to be. It's that sacred space. You are grounded in your sacred space. So funny. So the woman that made me my cards, she just liked something on my social media. So how aligned is that? Her name just came through. Okay, and we have the unicorn card. This unique creature reminds us to trust in something we can't see, feel, or touch. Have you been second guessing the universe? It's time to start believing again. And this is for anybody who might be on a leap of faith right now. If you're somewhere, maybe you're at a job that you don't fully love, and you know that you're there for a reason, but you're not sure where to go next. So you're kind of like, okay where you're at, but like you're trusting that the universe is going to bring you where you're going next, is essentially what I'm trying to say. And you're just relaxed. You're not kicking and screaming where you're at. So the universe is saying, if you are kicking and screaming and you're just like, get me out of here, I'm struggling and there's so much noise where I'm at, you're completely activated. The unicorn card is saying, take a deep breath. Understand that wherever you are listening to this video right now, you are meant to be there. Every pit stop is meant to be. Okay. So all those years, I can't even tell you, like, even if I think back to the 2 years that I worked at the second school that I worked at one school for about like 14 years. And then I did another school for like 2.5. And so I did like a total of 17 years, but my last year I did like a leave of absence. So I don't really count that, but I just say 17. But the last school that I was at, I can't even tell you, I was kicking and screaming. I was not surrendering. I was not just being okay with being there, because I felt like I was always going to be there. I literally thought, I'm just stuck, miserable. I'm always going to be here. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Little did I know, in a few short years, I was going to be free. I was going to be doing YouTube. I was going to be doing readings and Reiki and having a mentorship program. Like, Like, pinch me now, because back then I was not okay. And this is a sign to tell you that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And if you're like me and you're somewhere in your life and you're just like thinking it's going to be forever, it's not. Your life is literally about to transform. There's about to be an ending and a new beginning. And heck, it might even be this week. And it could be you creating that end. You know what you need to do. You might wake up on Wednesday and cut the cord of wherever you're at. You might just say, I'm done. I choose to feel like this. I choose to feel at home. I choose to feel invigorated. And some people have the nervous system to do that. You know, they just take the leap of faith because they have full trust in this. They know that the unicorn is going to take them to their desires. And that's essentially what I had to do this time last year. On November 19th of last year, I left my job and I didn't have any money coming in. I had a little bit in savings that would last me a couple months, but I took the leap and I was just, you know, some people would call it reckless, but I knew my body and I was like, I am not meant to keep going here. And I trust myself that I will figure it out and that the universe will literally figure it out for me. And when I took that leap, oh my gosh, did all these doors open up? All these opportunities started to happen. You know, my channel grew pretty quickly so that I got clients from it. I got income. So you can do it too. I know that might not be the route you want to take, like a leap of faith, and not knowing where the money's going to come from. But if I can do it, you can do it. And I also had a really successful story that I had debt that was building during that time. And I recently just got it paid off. There was a magical thing that happened. Somebody came into my life and offered to pay it off for me. And I had been manifesting it. And I talked about it in, I think, my recent video. It was the one video where I had my like cute little Princess Leia buns. I forget the title of the video. I'll link it below. But if you want to go hear about that story, I talked about it in that video. But yeah, so if I were to go back to me, you know, taking the leap of faith, if somebody would have said, hey, Michelle, you're going to put, you know, a lot of your food and your gas and stuff on credit cards for a couple months, and it's going to, you know, be a safety net for you. You're going to build debt, but eventually somebody's going to pay it off for you. You're not going to have to worry about it. Holy shit. Yes, you leave that job, you go charge everything on a credit card, you start your mission, you start feeling good, you give yourself that time to figure it out and to see how the universe works, and then it just all gets paid off. That's essentially what a leap of faith is. It happens to everybody. It just happens in different ways. Some people come in with an inheritance from somebody. The universe will take care of you. If you take a leap of faith to do your mission work, you are 100% being taken care of, because this is what your soul's path is. And when you're aligned with your soul's path, the universe shows up with money, with things, but it doesn't show up with big chunks of money at the beginning of your journey. You have to trust. You have to step into the unknown and be a brave soul that you came here to be. And sometimes it means taking a leap, using a credit card just for a little bit, and then the universe, within a couple weeks, things start happening. Okay, the money starts coming in. I ended up making, I think I left in November. By like March, I was making the same amount that I was making teaching. So December, January, and February were 3 months where I used my savings, which is kind of funny because remember I said I only had a little bit, I only had enough in savings to cover me for 3 months. That's exactly what I needed. And then the universe took over and was like, here, Michelle, here's your regular paycheck for teaching, but you're going to get it in a different way through your readings, through Reiki, through your mentorship program. So how magical is that story? You guys can experience it too. It is so worth it. It is not, I was not willing to suffer any longer in a place that I knew wasn't right for me, whether it was a relationship in the past or whether it was a job. Of course, we get the seahorse. So if you are teetering with this decision, the seahorse is here to tell you this: be still, bop around for a bit, just wait. The answer will come. Don't rush it. The universe is moving things for you. So this might be an indication that don't leap just yet. You might have to get more ducks in the row first. Just like I had savings. I made a mindfulness program a year prior to that, and it made a bunch of money really, really fast. And I believe that the universe had me make that money prior to my leap of faith so that I would take the leap. Because if I didn't have that money in savings, and that would supply for me for like 2 or 3 months to get my feet on the ground, I probably wouldn't have taken the leap of faith. Maybe I would have, I don't know. That would have been really brave. But I at least had a little bit of money in savings. So maybe the seahorse is saying, hold the line. Maybe you're about to get some money so that you can take your leap of faith. And I also just heard, don't be shy. Ask for help if you need help. There are lovely people out there that are abundant and they're willing to share and help. I just got guided to stop shuffling that deck and to use my prayer deck. This is Tosha Silver's, my gosh, The Wild Offering Oracle. She wrote 2 books, which I highly recommend. Her name is Tosha Silver. The first book is Outrageous Openness, where it's all about how the universe shows up for you in these situations. So if you're about to take a leap of faith, or you're feeling like you want to learn more about how the universe does show up for you, like if some of you were like, well, Michelle, how did you start to get clients and how did it all unfold? Go listen to this book, Outrageous Openness by Tosha Silver. She explains it and she explains timelines. She says, you know, when I needed a publisher for my book that she was writing, she had to wait 2 months and the universe brought her a publisher. So sometimes we have to wait a little bit. So the seahorse might be proof that, you know, you might have to sit in discomfort for a little bit. Okay. So I had to sit in discomfort until my debt was paid off. You know, a couple months prior to that, I'm like, all right, should I go get another job to pay down this debt? What should I do? But I kept getting the seahorse card. And it was like, Michelle, just wait. The universe is doing something for you. So I waited and I'm really glad I did. So let's get some cards from Tosha's deck. The other book she wrote is called It's Not Your Money. So it's all about how the abundance that we have in our lives and what we're receiving is really not ours. It's the universe. Even this table is not mine. You know, the lights are not mine. The couch isn't mine. It's all stuff from the universe that has been gifted to us. Any money you make, it's from the vortex, which means we have an endless supply. So when you're on a leap of faith, these are the lessons that you learn. Like I say this with such ease, and I know it's not easy to hear this. If you're somebody who's never taken a leap of faith, you're like, wait, how did you do that? I don't think I have the nervous system to do that. You do. But you don't learn this faith until you're in the situation, until you're having those anxiety-filled mornings where you're like, where's the money going to come from? And then it's dropped into your account in a large amount. And you're just like, holy shit, I didn't even know this could happen. Because before you stayed in your 9-to-5 job, very safe, very comfy. So you weren't open to the magic. But when we have to like be without things to see how the universe brings us things. Just like when you go through a breakup, you have to be without a partner before the universe can bring you the most amazing partner, because then you're going to actually really appreciate it. So Tosha's first card is Aging. I am one with unlimited love, beyond all seeming restrictions of age. I am filled with joy, energy, and beauty, a vessel for divine Shakti. So this is saying that you can do anything at any age. If you have a limiting belief saying that you're too old or you don't look good at a certain age or you can't go do this because people will judge it because of your age, you're being guided to throw that out the window. Also, there's certain twin flame partnerships where there's a big age gap, and this could be that as well. Maybe you're the older twin and you feel a little self-conscious because you're older. Maybe you're the younger one and you're like, what does she want with me? Or what does he want with me? I'm so young. No, age is, it's just whatever. Your soul is your soul. Your soul has no age. Okay. Last 2 from this deck, we have Compassion and Sanctuary. Okay, compassion first. As you pray each day for greater compassion, a new self is born, drawing new people and experiences. Dear Lord, help me feel ever deepening self-acceptance. May I see myself as you see me. So because maybe of the age thing, you're not accepting yourself and you're not seeing how beautiful you are and all the things that other people love about you. And basically, if you're a soul in that earth suit, you know, you only get this one life in that earth suit, in that family, in this experience. So how can you just make the best of it and stop overthinking what it looks like and stop overthinking what color your hair is or, you know, what your skin looks like, and just be in your body and just be like, you know what, I'm just going to make the best of every single moment. and have compassion for the old programming and the fear of being judged and the fear of being rejected? How can I just find compassion for that little person inside of me that maybe was rejected, and then maybe that was left behind or judged, and just seeing it and not replaying it for your future? So these two cards I feel like are total fear cards. Like, let's throw away the fear and not create a false story about our future that doesn't even exist yet. Why not create a story of magnificence and fun and magic? And just like I created, somebody paid off my debt and then it happened. So why not create that story? They're both not real, but we're sitting in the present moment freaking out about something that doesn't even exist. So why not paint a really beautiful story? Why not paint and create a beautiful new story for our future? And maybe I just did that because maybe somebody out there is very artistic, and maybe you need to get out of that thought process, that old programming of always painting a really undesirable future for yourself. Stop doing it. Get out some artwork and start creating what you want your life to look like. Make a vision board, make a journal, start to do things to really see what your future could be like. And these videos help you get there because I'm sharing my magic. I'm sharing the magic of my clients, which you might not have even thought was possible until you hear stories like this. But this is how the universe works. And that's why you got the unicorn card, is because you haven't been fully believing, but that's okay because you just didn't have those experiences. But you were guided to watch this video now, and you're hearing these stories of magic. I've had one client, a family member offered her $100,000, which is going to allow her to possibly leave her teaching job. I had another client who received $80,000 off of the sale of her house. I had another male client. He was manifesting $80,000 off the sale of a house that he shared with his brothers. I had a neighbor who manifested $60,000, and it came in like an old pension that her mom had years ago. And her mom was really sick, and it happened before her mom had passed. So there's all these stories of money coming out of nowhere, literally being gifted to you. And I think I might create a manifesting course. So drop me a comment below or thumbs up, or maybe do both. That would be great. Because obviously, if a thumbs up, I don't know if you're thumbs upping for this reason or not, but drop me a comment and say yes to the manifesting course, because I'm wondering if I should create it, if you guys need it, because I've had 2 people DM me recently saying, hey, can you like guide me to one of your videos where you manifest money? And I know that I seem to have a lot of success with it in my life, and you don't have success with it until you've been without it. So if you're without money right now, it's a good sign, because you have to be without it to learn how to create it. Okay, so don't judge where you're at. It's okay if you don't have money right now. You're being forced to learn this lesson of how to forget about your 3D reality and how to feel abundant and be really grateful for what you have right now. Because when you do get the money, because you will, how are you not going to fear losing it? How are you going to be in the same state that you're in right now as you are if you have $1 million? That's the lesson the universe is teaching you. It wants to show you that you can be okay without money and you can be okay with money. And that's ultimate peace. That is sanctuary. So I'm going to read that real fast. A sanctuary resides inside you no matter what is happening. This inner temple beckons you to enter. Take a deep breath, enter, and sit down on the throne of your own heart. So your soul is wanting you to find peace. And the only way to find peace is if we've experienced the contrast, not having the partner, not having the house, not having the money just yet, and then experiencing it. And when we're here, we're going to appreciate the journey. We're going to learn all these lessons and how we got here. We're going to learn how to manifest. So those of you that are DMing me and messaging me saying, Michelle, how do I manifest this? You're learning these tools. So then when you do manifest the thing you desire, it doesn't end there. That's just the beginning. It's a tsunami. It's just going to keep coming. Okay. The wave is just going to get bigger each time, and more joy, more peace, more happiness. And each time there might be a setback. That's just because you're meant to go backwards a little bit to relearn a new lesson. And then when you come out the other side, you're even more beautiful because you're so educated on the journey. Beautiful message. Okay, my throat is starting to hurt, and usually that's my guide saying, energy cooked. You're done, Michelle. Okay. Thank you all so much for being here. You are about to get a manifestation with money, but you are needing to hear this first. Either somebody, it could be the girl in the money, the man in the money. You're getting a combination of somebody's going through an ending, a new beginning, an invitation in love, and they're learning to ask their guides and angels for help as they transition out of these jobs and these relationships. They're going within, they're finding their peace, their sanctuary, they're seeing the lessons in the journey, and they're finding their faith. They're understanding that when you leave something, it's not a death, it's a rebirth. And if somebody in your life is leaving you, same situation. It's happening for you. So embrace these times, okay? And message me if you need help, and I will assist you in any way I can. All right, lovies, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.